is Atasha and this is my video. So I wanted to do a video based on a programme I've been watching earlier this week, just because of the impact it had on my life. So it's essentially, the programme is There's Something About Miriam. So when I was younger, so in the early 2000s, this was on TV and it was in the newspapers, about the Mexican, at the time called a transsexual, but obviously now we would say transgender person. She was on a show where she was going to be, 6 guys were going to be vying for her attention, and to win the contest they would have a date with her and £10,000. And the trick that, or the twist was that they didn't know she was born with as male and obviously transitioned. And I remember at the time, I know that at the time it was all about sort of the newspapers jumping on it, about it being shocking, and you know, when people don't understand things they make it into a joke, and it was kind of like this, you know, it's a bloke, and sort of making, sort of belittling the person, not really valuing the person as a human being, just sort of saying it's almost like a circus-like sort of attention. But for me at the time, I had a completely different look, sort of perception of the whole situation. For me, it was like a light amongst all the darkness to see this absolutely stunning transgender person. I couldn't believe that this was someone who was trans, and also I couldn't believe that they were suddenly getting, that it was going to be on TV. Granted, it was on Sky and I never got to see it, but it was for me, it was inspiring. I mean, at that time I would have been early 20s, in the closet, completely locked in the closet, not even a thought about sort of going out, never mind sort of coming out. So to see this person, it was just very inspiring at the time. And I know the newspapers were fixated on saying it was bad, it was morally wrong, and all the things that society does. But I blurred all that out, and for me it was like an insight into what was possible. And I wonder how much of it's shaped my future, because seeing what was possible even back then, how far I've come as well, I never would have thought I would have got to where I am now. From back then in the beginning of 2000 to where I am now, on hormones and having a job and being, happy with my life. Now, watching the film, I wanted to watch it just to sort of understand what happened. I knew it wasn't going to be a positive sort of take on transgender people, but it was, obviously with my mature brain now and my years and years of experience, I look at it through very, very sort of knowing and wise eyes. Sky knew exactly what they were doing. It was the shock factor. It was about, tricking people, so that in the same way as like at the end of a film there's a big twist. They just wanted that twist. They didn't really care about the person, or the implications. And they didn't sort of think it would be, I think they had a real lack of understanding of how very, very masculine men could react to a situation like this. Because when I looked at it, when I was watching the programme, because it's on Channel 4 at the moment, by the way, so you can watch it on Catch Up TV. The 6 guys they assembled, from my experience, I wouldn't feel comfortable with those 6 guys if they didn't know I was trans beforehand. They were typical lads, most of them, and so for me it was, I know these are generalizations, but we have to use our inner compass and sort of protect against people that would be more receptive and people who weren't. But to put those 6 guys in that situation, it was like adding lots of chemicals, I don't know, sodium and magnesium, trying to get a reaction. And I feel I was a little bit sad watching it. Obviously Miriam's very, very strong to have gone through what she went through, and it gives a bit of insight into her background and the fact that her dad's situation, her dad sort of wouldn't accept her and she had to leave home at 14 because they tried to sort of take the demon out of her, which made her transgender or whatever. So that was sad as well, but it was a really tough watch, and it was nice that one of the guys, I think one or two of the guys, were sort of retrospectively saying they had nothing against her, and they're sorry to hear what happened to her thereafter. It was more about what Sky had done. They didn't like being tricked. Who does? But for me, it's the following the story. Whether it might have contributed. She ended up getting into bad situations, and then I think she died when she was 38 in I think 2019. Did it all contribute to it? We'll never know. But one of the things I've learnt from my life is everything we do in life takes us towards a destination or a place. And I wonder whether this situation, put her in a bad place mentally and emotionally, and she ended up making bad decisions. But it was very sad to see, because she was a real pioneer, a real inspiration to a lot of people my age growing up, because there wasn't anyone on TV, there wasn't anyone at work, there was no one. I never saw any trans people when I grew up, and to suddenly see them all, this Miriam on the newspaper, it was very inspiring. So to give it a watch, I just wanted to talk about it because it affected me so much at the time, and I was really sad to see it. And at the end, the father sort of, unfortunately, didn't accept Miriam during her life and always called him he. But when she passed, then it's almost like he had a realization. I think it's such a sad state of affairs where we wait until people have gone before we start seeing things clearly. And then he started sort of having a bit of remorse and wishing he'd treated her a bit better. And it's terribly upsetting for someone like me. That's something that really sort of hit home, and I did shed a tear on that. But it's definitely worth a watch if you want to sort of understand how far we've come in the last 20 years, and also, the first sort of tiptoeing into where we are now. Then it's a good insight into that. But a sad watch for me. We've come on a long way, and we're only going to go further. But Miriam's a hero to me. I just wanted to do this video to sort of take my hat off to her and thank her for being such a shining light to the rest of us. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. Sorry if it was a bit somber, but I felt compelled to sort of talk about her, because she was a big part of my earlier years, and it's kind of like I feel like I've come full circle now. I'm watching what actually happened, when I only sort of saw clips at the time, and now I saw what actually happened all those years ago, 20 odd years ago, and it's looking through my eyes now. It's really sad, and I almost wanted to go back and protect her in some way from all this horrible onslaught that she then thereafter faced. But anyway, life's good now, and let's make the world a more positive place and make it more, more livable for everyone of different lifestyles. Until next time, thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.